Woodruff, who is the Director of Media and Motorsports over at JAGS. But ironically, we are not going to talk to him about that. We are going to talk to him about his position with the Pro Series and his heavily involvement in NHRA pro level drag racing. Most of you recognize his car out there with Jay Coughlin doing the driving chores and doing very well. Scott, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Doing really well. How about yourself?
Oh, not bad. We're surviving, trying to get through all this and have this fun production to keep us busy during the downtime. In terms of Pro and their relationship with NHRA, how's that been going during the downtime in terms of trying to get the pros back to drag racing?
Well, I think it's going really well. Obviously it's a pretty fluid situation still from state to state. And sorry, somebody just fired up a car, of course, in the shop. So that's. Oh, I actually thought about that. I'm like, somebody's for sure going to start a car, but
occupational hazard.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Everybody likes a little rumble in the background out of this group. So, but no, Pro is the professional racers and owners organization. Really a group of about, I think there's maybe 10 of us. That NHRA comes to with ideas, as well as the pro board goes to NHRA with ideas and or suggestions. So we're kind of the eyes and ears and the mouth kind of for all the racers to invoke some change or just really get a good handle on what's going on. And I got to say, I mean, Ned Walliser and Josh Peterson have really put in a lot of time working with the individual states to kind of keep track of that on what we're allowed to do, not allowed to do, and as everybody knows, it's a pretty fluid situation. So there's also ATKIS, which is a group that the top 7 motorsports associations in the United States work together. They've got a lobbyist, and so obviously there's a voice in Washington D.C. that is kind of on the ground there to kind of keep everybody up to date with some of those changes. But as a whole, it's a group effort. Whether you're a one-car team or a Don Schumacher or John Force or Connie Coletta, you pretty much have the same voice and just kind of really trying to work toward having a better series and a safer series and good for our sponsors and good for our fans.
Awesome.
So in terms of getting back to racing, are there anything you could share with everybody about kind of what's going to happen here come, hopefully a month or so?
Well, there's not really a whole lot I can share, but I can tell you that there will be an announcement made tomorrow by NHRA that will really kind of unfold their plan for what they're looking at as the remaining part of the year. They've also developed a kind of like a roadmap back to racing. So they're working with tracks. Obviously, there's been a lot of rumors on the internet, which is great because that shows that there's interest. But really, all the teams and the sanctioning body really want to get back to the racetrack. And obviously, the way that the business structure works with the NHRA, they need to have fans, they need to have entry fees, and they need to have sponsorship. So, our situation is, revenue-wise, our sport does rely heavily on fan support at venue. So, so that's important, and we want to race in front of fans ultimately, and I think everybody's good with maybe a race or two coming up, and maybe before August, but I think outside of that, really. We really want to be in front of fans, and
right.
Tentatively we've talked about Indy, and the beauty of that is, Indianapolis has obviously been very pro fans, and there is a rather large race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway the beginning of July, so we're all very hopeful that that's going to pave the way for more and more fans to be able to be at the racetrack and enjoy the sport that they love.
Kind of looking a little past the Corona situation and all of that, looking at pro during a regular NHRA season, how do racers go about coming to you guys and getting information that they want to cross to hopefully make changes and convey their message? What would a typical season look like for that?
As far as you're saying, issues that somebody might have?
Right, yeah, how racers get a hold of you and pro.
Well, they, all the professional racers have all the contact information of everybody on the board. And a lot of those conversations typically stem around, number one, safety, track prep, really just manpower issues, state ordinances, really, we all learn from each other. So it's really just a good conduit for race teams and the racers themselves.
Kind of wrapping up the interview, I know as some racers may not know about this resource and know that it's out there. If they want to find more information on it, is this available on any kind of site or anything that they could look for?
I'm sure that you can search on Google, Professional Racers Association or Professional Racers Organization. But at this time, it's really geared around the topfuel, the funnycar, prostock effort. But there's a test session at the beginning of the year, typically in the Phoenix area, and that's kind of an open pro test. So there's the nice thing is everybody in this racing community really wants to help others. And the only time you don't want to help somebody is for about 4 or 5 seconds when they're in the other lane. So that's kind of the norm, I guess. But like I said, it can be stuff as simple as, a first-time team, wanting to know how to get a truck wrapped or how to get a car wrapped or how to do any of that.
Right.
Where to get cylinder heads and, so it's pretty cool.
We look forward to when NHRA kicks back into action here, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Sounds great.